Rabbit. So I'm making this video to let you know about the progress, and because I'm working on my birthday. As long as this project is going on, I don't care. So if I go to inspect them and go to console, as you can see, there's nothing much to see here. These are a couple of small errors that would be solved once this is working. This auto completion error will be solved once the autocomplete.js file would be working, and that plugin would work once I get the JSON data in this page to match the search results of any user. Right now, if I click on football, as you can see, the ID would be passed. This means that the Ajax code is running. The Ajax code is running means that it is sending this data to the API, second API page, which would then process its code and then parse the JSON data back to this page. Now, this was a perfect representation. This is a perfect representation of the JSON data. This would be the ideal thing that I would need, but with captions in it. As you can see right now, there are no captions here. I was able to pass this data easily to the home page, and then it would have been really easy to compare this with the search results. But as you can see in this code, the JSON data is not passed. Why is this not passed? Because it says that uh, caption is also caption like ID. This is a text, but caption is not a text. It's an object on its own, and in order to access that object, we will have to loop it again, or we'll have to specifically uh, tell it in the PHP code that this is an object. But uh, I was able to access these objects as well. Let me show you some things. Wait here. As you can see, ID and the caption, ID caption, ID caption, ID caption. I was able to process these, but I was unable to properly make them as JSON objects like this. So right now, this is being output by just these two lines. There were there were 10 or 20 plus lines here as well, but at night I figured it out. Why are we doing that? We just need the JSON data, which can be JSON encoded like this. So why not just simply uh, encode the data that is coming from the API? But there was a problem that the captions are not being displayed properly. So what I needed to do was I needed to extract this data like I have shown you in the picture attached, where you saw the caption and ID, caption and ID. Where is it? Like this. Now I would know that how to access this data. Then I thought I should easily create an array. Uh, the, no, no, no. This one. Yes. Then I thought, why not to extract the data myself in PHP, create two empty arrays. This one is data array, this one is the ID and caption array. These two are empty arrays. Then why not loop through this data like Anad was looping, and then push these ID and caption values inside this array, so that the caption is no more an object. Caption would just be a text inside the array. So what I did here was, and I think I did it alone because Anad was just thinking like it was my job to do this. So what all day I was telling him this should be done, this should be done, and he was like, let's try this, let's try this. And after a couple of minutes, I'll be the one who is trying this. As you can see that, where's the problem now? Told him this is the problem. Then I suggested another one. Then I said, I'm done. Then I said, we need to take the final array. Then this. So as you can see, the caption is the basic issue here. He said, wait, send me the file. I sent him the file. Then I said my laptop just crashed and so on. So this is how I'm doing this, that for every particular element inside the item, that ID and caption, I would then first push the ID. This is the caption. This is the ID inside the ID and caption array. Then what would I do? I would then echo these two values for that particular loop to check if I'm getting the correct values or not. And as you saw in the picture that I showed you the data was being pushed properly. Then what I thought to do is I needed to get this data inside an array. So basically, I in JSON I need an my thought was I need an array which would consist of small arrays, and in each of the small array there would be two elements, one caption and one ID, which would be simple text, so that none of these would be objects, and I then would then just encode them in JSON and could easily fetch this data in JavaScript as well. So what I did was here I pushed these into the data array, which is the big array, ID and caption array. Now because now the loop will end, and because in every loop I need this ID and caption array to be empty so that the previous values are not added again and again. So the first small row would be of two elements, then the second small row would be of four elements, then the third small row would be of third small array would be of six elements, and so on. In this way, the first the entries would then get repeated itself, and the laptop or the code will crash. So what I needed was I needed to delete those entries again after pushing them into the main array. So now the big array is consist of one small array which consists of these two values. Then I deleted those for this loop, and then in the next loop again I'll have a small empty array in which I'll again push these two caption and ID, and then again push that caption and ID in the big data array, which will then consist of two small arrays each of one caption and ID values. This way I was hoping to get it done, and then this is just the code to JSON encode it. Now if you look at the data here, as you can see, this is the part where I am just simply displaying these two in PHP. As you can see, I have the ID and the caption I'm getting the ID and the caption very easily inside this. Let me show you in a bigger perspective. As you can see, there's the ID, there's the caption, then the ID, then the caption. These two are being outputted properly in the PHP array, which I created here because of this code. But when I convert this array to a JSON object, JSON encoding, and I return this value to the uh, Ajax to parse it in the autocomplete feature, it returns it like this. For some reason, it is not converting the uh, array into proper JSON object, and the captions are still not appearing. What I asked uh, Anad at about 1 p.m. my time. Okay, if you want, okay, let me. Okay, here it is. Now I'm getting the proper data in PHP, but if I encode it, then it is increasing the number of elements. I do not. So, okay, then he said I was out for lunch, and then I asked him that in the beginning, when you sent me the code, the first code, which is this one, this is the XML object being loaded from the API, and then I was just simply converting this into the JSON. This JSON was showing the result like this, and this is the perfect JSON result that I could get, but the caption were not available because the captions were a separate object. I just need them as simple text. So I asked him that if we can convert this array into that object, because if I type the search the type of this array, it tells me an array, and if I search the type of this element, then it tells me that it's an object. So I asked him if I can convert it into an object or not. Then he said at 1:09 p.m., sure, I'll try at my end. I said, okay, thanks. Then I was out for an hour when I told you that I'll be back home and then I'll let you know. He didn't reply, and then I went to sleep. And then after 4 hours, he said, hi Sharyar, sorry I was busy on some other task. Any update? So right now, only issue is that the array, I need to convert this array, which is in perfect text format, which is the one thing I need, into a proper JSON format. Once I can do this, then the rest of the code is already done here in the search event PHP. So this is the Ajax code that on ready state change. This is the sport type value that I am sending to the SOAP API 2.php page, and then I'm telling it that on ready state change get the response from that value. In that response, if the Ajax is proper, then this code is also working. This code is also properly getting the ID and spam ID and the caption. Now why am I doing this? Because in order to implement the autocomplete search plugin, I need some choices already present in the search area which the plugin can compare to, and then match the results according to the users when the user can type. But I cannot just simply extract all this information in here, because for each sport type there is different. For example, if football, then football will have different search results. If there is basketball, then I need to display the results on the basis of these. So right now, because the JSON is not properly formatted right now, that I have converted it all. That is why there is an error here. Otherwise you would have seen an object being returned with the response. The response would have been this text format, and then I would have easily extracted those and then added into this array, so that when users can search, the words are already present to compare to, and then the search result is in. So now the only difficulty in this page is that I need to convert this properly formatted array data into an object data, so that I can get the JSON data in a proper format which I can then use on the plugin. After that, this page would be done, and then I would just simply, on this click, I would just simply send this data to the next page. So the next page, I was also worked it out. So this is how I have created it right now. There is no sidebar for now. As you can see, when someone would search, I would just implement the search type here. I'll get it from the URL itself. Search results for this are this, and then someone would be able to click on these easily. So I've already created the template for this search results as well. This would be a pretty simple and pretty straightforward template to work on, because I just need to implement the SOAP API one. The only trickier thing in this implementation of SOAP API is the 4 files is just this thing. I hope I can work it out tonight, and but if I am able to do this and I'm able to implement the autocomplete search plugin easily after this, then the rest of the work for implementing these 4 API files is just an hour or two worth of time. The rest of the work is easy peasy. So I hope I can do this. Thanks.